The fate of the October local government elections remain uncertain. This follows the IEC's announcement that it will either approach the Constitutional Court or Electoral Court for advice on whether to postpone the elections or go ahead. The independent inquiry led by Justice Dikgang Moseneke recommended that the elections be postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The report says the elections under the pandemic won't be free and fair and will risk people's lives. Now, for more reaction on the story, I'm joined by Morné Mostert, who is the manager at the Local Government Affairs at AfriForum, as well as the IFP's Narend Singh. He's the chief whip of the party. Now, questions have there have been mixed reactions to the Electoral Commission of South Africa's decision to ask the court for an order to postpone the local government elections. Mr. Singh, I'll start with you. Tell us what have been your initial thoughts on from the IFP to this decision.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. We welcome the sorry about that.
While we sort out that sound issue, let's move to get a response from AfriForum this time. Now, the lobby group has instructed its legal team to institute an investigation regarding the merits of an application that will be launched by the Independent Electoral Commission to postpone these municipal elections. If so, present the legal arguments to the court. What's the purpose of your group's probe?
Thank you very much. Yes, I do think it's very important to understand that even though Judge Moseneke recommended that the election should be postponed, he does not make any finding within his report that if this is possible according to the Constitution. Remember that if this application to be made, the Constitutional Court or Electoral Court will have to consider an application that actually within the Constitution requires constitutional amendment. So if you look at the Constitution, the Local Government Structures Act, it gives the term of municipal councils of 5 years, and within that 5 years, when at the end of that 5 years, the IEC must then hold municipal elections. It would seem that this constitutional provisions are mandatory, and that's why AfriForum has instructed our legal team to investigate this further, and we will obviously join the matter as the Commission will take this matter to either the we think it's going to be the Constitutional Court, but either the Constitutional Court or the Electoral Court.
Now, Morné, you've also expressed that this application can have a big impact on future judicature. Explain to us what you make of this assertion.
So, the Constitution is supreme in terms of Section 2 of the Constitution. Constitution is the supreme law, and all obligations on it must be fulfilled. So, the Constitutional Court is a structure actually created by the Constitution. So now the Constitutional Court will hear an application to give an order on that actually has the impact of amending the Constitution. So I think there is certain problems with that as an application, and that's why we say that the Constitution's is mandatory in the way and the manner that it has expressed. And I think it was a very difficult question for Justice Moseneke to answer. And that's why we think that there is some kind of legal basis where we could join the application, or we could take part in the application of the Commission that would probably go to the Constitutional Court. And I think it's very important that if the Constitutional Court would be able to give such an order, it might be a slippery slope for the Constitutional Court to actually grant orders that are outside of the constitutional scope. And that's why we are saying, as AfriForum, that we need to look at how the Constitution was drafted, and we need to find a manner within the pandemic that would actually be able to enable the Commission to go forth or to have a free and fair elections. I think one thing that's also very important that's not always mentioned is the Commission has repeatedly said that they are ready to hold the municipal elections, but they just want to see what preparations they need to take or what they must do to ensure it's free and fair. One of the things that the Commission has already done is made an urgent submission to the National Treasury to get some funds in to ensure PPE is allocated to individuals that are assisting the Commission with these elections. So I do think that the Commission, as it stands at this stage, they are ready, and that's why I think this application would be important, and that's why AfriForum feels strongly to take part in this application.
Now, Mr. Singh, we are fast running out of time, but let's bring you back into the conversation. The IFP has welcomed the decision, and you have long called for a postponement until May 2022 for these elections. You've also said this will give our population the opportunity to attain herd immunity, and you're also willing to support the amendment of the Constitution so that any postponements deemed necessary for health and safety. Just please expand on this.
Okay, absolutely, yes. We have supported the IEC supporting Judge Moseneke. It is unfortunate that legalese has to come to play here. We have to look at a practical situation in our country. You know, if there's a fire out there and I see a fire extinguisher, I'm going to pick it up and use it, not asking who it belongs to. And I think, you know, practical, pragmatic people in our country must realize that Judge Moseneke went through a very painstaking process. It's a 120-page report and he was pragmatic about his recommendations, and the IEC has supported it. I think the Constitution, you know, we speak a lot about Constitution, and we as a political party, we support the fact that we belong to a constitutional democracy. But at the end of the day, we must realize that the Constitution is man-made, drafted by us, and I don't see any reason why, even if there's need to amend the Constitution, we will not get the 75%, because the majority of the people would favor a postponement given the circumstances that we find ourselves in with COVID and the different variants that are coming to play. So I really hope that, you know, the legal people from all political parties, wherever they are, would really think about this seriously and think about the majority of us who are living in rural communities, who have not been vaccinated, who are afraid of participating in anything where there will be huge gatherings, and forget the legalese about this. But let's be practical and let's look at the first date of February 2022 and move forward from there. We will certainly support any legal measure to ensure that the elections are officially postponed until February 22nd.
Morné, I'll give you the last bite, and very quickly, in just under a minute, just explain to us what's next in your course of action.
I do think it's very important that Judge Moseneke's report there wasn't anonymity regarding if the municipal election should take place, and all of the medical data that was presented is in his report. So at this stage, we are consulting with our legal team to ensure that we have the correct legal frame to actually join the application to be made by the Commission. And I do think it's very important to understand that the legal framework was set out by the Constitution with a specific purpose, and I do think there is a middle point between having a due regard to the safety of individuals we see in South Africa, which is obviously paramount, and within the legal context of and the legal framework of the Constitution.
Well, thank you both gentlemen for your time. That's Morné Mostert from Lobby Group, that's AfriForum, as well as the IFP's Narend Singh.